Alright, so in this section, let's talk about different ways to access a remote Linux server. So for example, there is a Linux server which is present in London location or London office, and there is a user present in the Paris office. How can this user access this server remotely, and that is also securely? So the first way we will cover is via Putty or using the Putty terminal. So what is Putty? Putty is a free and open source terminal. And why we are covering this Putty terminal? Because it is one of the most popular tools for connecting over the remote servers. And if you are learning Linux, working on cloud servers or managing application, Putty allows you to open a secure terminal and controls a machine from anywhere. In this section, we will go step by step. However, before we move on to practical demo, let's cover some key point about accessing a remote server. So the first point is server should be powered on. Of course, it should be up and running and connected to the internet. Okay, then only you can access it remotely. You need the server's IP and hostname. SSH service must be installed and running on the server. So this is a service which allows a server to be accessible from outside. Okay, so they should be up and running. Port 22, which is the default SSH port. SSH means secure shell, means we are securely accessing the server. Must be open. So 22 ports should be open in firewall or the network settings, and you need a valid username or account on the server. So you must have the username and account credential already created on the server, then only you can access that server. So in our practical demo, we will use Putty terminal on our Windows to access a Linux server running inside our VirtualBox. So let's see. Simply search download Putty on Google, hit enter, and the very first the website you will see the download Putty latest release 0.83, and you can see the installer, which is the MSI. So we will choose this 64-bit and download and save. So download has been done. I will just open the download folder. You can see the installer. I will just double click on the installer and install the Putty terminal, and it's really very straightforward. Simply do the next install. Okay, so installation has been done. Click on the finish, and simply to start, just in the search bar, just type Putty. So you will see this option and open from here. So for the first time, you will see this type of window where it is asking for the host name at the IP address, which I have already covered that you should already know these details. So the port is already defined as the 22. And the connection type, so it is already by default selected as SSH. So we are going to securely access this server. Okay, so first let's see how we can connect our CentOS virtual machine using our Putty terminal. But before that, let's quickly go through the necessary points or requirement. Server must be powered on and connected to the network internet. Okay, so our virtual machine should be up and running. Okay, let me just log in. Okay, so now my CentOS virtual machine is up and running and it is ready. Let me also start my terminal. Till this point, our server is up and running. Okay, so what is the next point? You need the server IP address or host name. So there is a command we can use, which is ifconfig. Ifconfig, hit enter. So you can see something like this, which is called as network interface, broadcast running multi, and you will see inet, and after that an IP of this machine 10.0.2.15. Okay, so simple. Okay, let's use this. Okay, IP. So this is my Putty terminal. I will simply use 10.0.2.15. Okay, hit open. Okay, so now there is an error called connection timed out, and I know the reason, and I will show you the solution as well. Okay, I will just click on the OK for now. Okay, we need to make some changes in the VirtualBox settings. Okay, so this is our VirtualBox. Okay, so I will go in machines. There is a settings option, settings, and under the network tab, attached to net, just click on the drop down and select the bridge adapter. So as soon as you select the bridge adapter, what will happen? Your virtual machine will be sharing the same network as your host machine. Let's check if there is any change in the IP. If config, let's see. Okay, so all right, so you can see there was no not required any restart. So you can easily see right now the IP has been changed to 192.168 something like that. In case this IP has not changed in your case, what you need to do, you just need to execute a command which is called reboot. Okay, reboot and hit enter. So your virtual machine will restart and that IP should be changed. Now I will use the new IP 192.168.1.8. And there is one more benefit of using the Putty terminal. It gives you an option of saving the session or the server details. So for example, you don't need to check this IP details every time. So see, first time you have entered this IP, okay, here you can just give this server a name, for example Centos, okay, and you just click on this option of save button. Okay, very simple. And next time whenever you open the Putty terminal, right, you will see this option. So just click on the Centos, okay, and click on the open. Okay, asking for your username. So in my case I have given Paul as the username, okay, while creating the virtual machine. So I will enter Paul, and after this password, so I will give my password. You just need to enter yours, and as soon as I provide the password, you can see I am inside my Centos virtual machine. Okay, so if I execute if config on this terminal, so you will see 192.168.1.8, the same okay, so same details. Okay, you are inside the virtual machine now, or actually we can say in real life you are inside a Linux server, and you can execute any command, run any script on, and perform any action on that. You can also make some changes like settings, appearance, and the font and all, like for example 20 bold. Okay, so for the visibility and all. So now you can see who am I, so it will give you the username and so on. So this is how you can use Putty terminal in order to access a virtual machine or a Linux server. Okay, so there was one more important point, which is SSH service must be installed and running on the server. So we haven't checked that, and we just assume that it was up and running, but let me cover that as well. Sudo systemctl status sshd, which is the name of the service. If I hit enter, okay, so I used sudo, so it is asking for the password. So you can see the SSH open SSH server or service is active and running, and this is the reason why you were able to access our virtual machine. There was one more point which is related to the SSH port, which is port 22. Okay, must be open in firewall. And if you see, the details of this server, the service, the SSH service is active and running, and if you see on the below, the server listening on port 22. Now let's cover how we can access our Ubuntu virtual machine using our Putty terminal. Let me show you like how we can check IP of this server in case of the Ubuntu. So that command is a little bit changed here. It's IP ADDR, like a IP address. So again, the same thing, the broadcast multicast interface you can see, and there is a the range of IP you can use in for this server. So 10.0.2.15. So let's change our settings, the virtual machine settings, to network bridge adapter. Okay, simply use Control L to clean the terminal. We will use IP ADDR again, so we can see the broadcast IP is still the same. So in this case, we need to reboot or restart the server. So simply you can use reboot command and hit enter. So now you can see the virtual machine is restarting. Okay, I will just click the Windows key on the keyboard, and it will give you the search bar. Just type terminal, and yeah, we will open the terminal. let's check our IP again, IP ADDR. So now under the broadcast you can see the IP as 192.168 and so on. So now we can use this IP in our Putty. So we will start a new session. One more thing. So last time we have seen that you just enter the IP address here, but there is one more way where you can save the username details as well if you want. So for example, in our case, what is the username? So for that we can use who am I. So the user is VirtualBox user and IP ADDR. Okay, so we can provide both the information. So inside the box of IP address, let's first provide the username, which is VirtualBox user @ and then the IP, which is 192.168.1.2. and now we can save this information as well, Ubuntu, and save. Okay, I will just click on the Ubuntu and open. Alright, so there is a network error. So what could be the issue? Okay, so whenever you see such kind of error, so always take care of these points. Okay, so server was already up and running. Okay, so server IP we already have. We also have the username, password. Now what is remaining? The SSH service must be up and running. Okay, so let's check that if that is something missing and how we can check that. Okay, in case of Ubuntu, the command is something different. So is sudo systemctl status SSH. That's it. If I hit enter, okay, I need to provide the password because we are using the sudo command. Okay, so now it is saying SSH service not found. So maybe this service is not found. So for that we need to install it first. So I will just provide sudo apt install open ssh-server and -y just to give all the permission. That's it. So this is the command you need to use to install the service first. Okay, sudo apt install open ssh-server. That's it. Okay, so our service has been installed now, but we have to start the service as well. So for that you just need to use this command sudo systemctl start ssh. Very simple. Okay, I will hit enter, and after then you can also check status ssh. So you can see it is active and running, and again this is the SSH service. So you can see it is listening on port 22, which is the default port of SSH. I think we are all set. Let's try again. So I will just right click on this and restart the session. Okay, so you will see something like this. Okay, I will accept. Okay, so now what happened this time? It already provided the username and it is only asking for the password. So as soon as I provide the password, all right, so who am I? So VirtualBox user, and again you can change the same settings, etc., and so many things. Okay, so I will close it and again show you, like if I again start the Putty, click on the Ubuntu, open it, and it will only ask for the password this time. Okay, so this, it's more handy and more useful for the next time. Okay, so let's see some more ways to access the remote Linux server in case you don't have the permission to install or set up the Putty terminal, or maybe you don't want. So in that case, what you can do, you can use the default CMD terminal of Windows as well. So it is very easy. Okay, I will just search CMD. That's it. So here is my, okay, the CMD or the Windows terminal. What you just need to do, SSH, okay, command, okay, and the username, for example, Paul, @ and your user, and your server IP, like 192.168.1.8. Okay, and hit enter, yes, and password, and here you go. So you can see who am I, host name. So I am inside my CentOS server. Okay, so this is another handy way, I mean the easiest way if you want to just do the things is in speed. And you can also access the remote server using the GitBash terminal. Yes, you can do it. Okay, I will just open the GitBash like this. Okay, this is very handy terminal. Actually, I really love it personally a lot. Okay, again the same command ssh pol @192.168.1.8 and do your password, and yes, you are good to go. So yes, your terminal is ready and you are connected to the server.